What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome back to Chraetor Creative, where creative minds come together. I'm your host, Robert, and I'm glad to have you here with us. So, you can see we are here in Nocron continuing... you would think I would know how to speak, but no. I'm gonna struggle with just some of the basic words. Continuing our playthrough of Elden Ring on the New Game Plus as a Vengeance Paladin, or Paladin-like character. And we're definitely going to be talking about what's going on in the game, but at the same time, I want to actually discuss some of what's going on with my tabletop role-playing book. I'm sure that anybody who is returning has probably heard me talk about this, at least to some extent, but I am in fact currently in the process of writing a source book for tabletop role-playing that is going to be compatible with Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It's not specifically a Dungeons & Dragons book. I do quite often make the mistake of just saying Dungeons & Dragons when I'm talking about it rather than tabletop role-playing, because I am kind of stupid, but it's not a Dungeons & Dragons book per se. It is just compatible with Dungeons & Dragons. Well, that was brutal. But so I wanted to discuss that to some extent. Obviously, I can only share so much. I mean, I don't want to reveal everything that I'm doing, everything that's going on, and have you be like, well, what's the point of having any interest in the book if I already know everything that's going on? And, like, that's valid. You know, I couldn't blame you for being like, no, I don't have an interest in that. I know everything that's going on with it. But I do want to discuss some stuff. It's just to help me with my own world building and ideas and thought processes and stuff like that. What is over there? I don't know if I've ever actually come over here to check this out. Popper ahead. So there's nothing over here. But so one of the big things that's going on here is that because I want it to be compatible with 5e, I of course have to keep in mind the different classes, subclasses, you know, make my own unique stuff. Same with any tabletop role-playing, this all fits anywhere. But so the thing about that is, there are certain things that, if you want it to be compatible with 5e, have to be taken into account, but that aren't necessarily available. And what I mean by that is, well, there's certain things that are in 5e that people playing the game are going to come across. You know, it's only natural. If you're playing D&D, you're going to come across the stuff that's in it, right? Well, the thing is, certain things Wizards of the Coast has made kind of like off limits. You're not allowed to use it unless you work for them, which makes sense. It's their stuff, so they don't want you using their stuff for yourself. They do allow some of it under open licensing, which is pretty cool. I like that quite a bit. But there's a lot of stuff that can't be used. And it's very limiting. And so because of that, I really have to pay attention to, okay, what am I allowed to use? What am I not allowed to use? What's going to be used? What kind of stuff needs to be replaced? Because there's going to be expectations for a game that's compatible with it. There's going to be certain things that people are going to expect, that they're going to come across. A great example of this, I believe the Tarrasque is an off-limits monster, but it's very possible that you come across the Tarrasque. It's an iconic monster. A lot of people are going to want to be able to add it into their games. They're going to want that exciting fight to overcome probably the greatest calamity in all of Faerun. I'm not even sure if the Tarrasque exists in Faerun. It might be a different setting. But the point stands the same there. It's people are going to want to be able to use it, and I believe it's one that can't be used, so I have to take into account there needs to be giant, powerful, world-ending creatures, or a giant, powerful, world-ending creature that can fill a similar role to the Tarrasque. I don't want to rip off the Tarrasque. I don't want to copy and paste to just change, you know, its name or a couple of stats or whatever. It needs to be its own unique creature, its own unique thing, but it needs to fill a similar role. And now this is true of a couple of other things as well. There's different... I mean, they've got their own subclasses, they've got their own races, they've got their own all kinds of interesting stuff that there needs to be things that are similar to. And some of it can be ignored because it might not be all that important, but other parts, it can't. Okay, down it goes. I need more magic. This was a little bit more difficult than expected, but not all that much. But the one I really want to talk about right now is the classes. So you see, there's... Oh, I can kill it before it transforms. As long as I do it from a distance. Good to know. Didn't have to fight the troll. But a great example is the support class, the Artificer. There's a lot of people that play D&D. Apparently, I already did this. I didn't think I had done this already. Am I just wasting my time doing this? That's nice. Okay, I haven't made it to there though, so... Yeah, and Ronnie's still there, so I guess... I don't know, I guess I'm dumb. Anyways, the Artificer. There's people that play the game, they're going to want to be able to play the Artificer. And, of course, you know, people can take my source book and add in stuff from other worlds, so there's no reason they can't. However, when taking my world into account, I want to build it in such a way that it fits, but I can't use an Artificer. So I need to come up with something that's a valid replacement, just like a new monster that can fill a similar function as the Tarrasque while still being its own unique, cool thing. And so, I needed to make a new class to replace the Artificer. And I came up with a really interesting concept for it. It's another support half-caster, so, you know, there is that as far as similarities, but that's where the similar role comes in, but they're both very different focused. One is very specific, focused on helping its allies, helping your allies if you play that role, as supporting them in combat, like making them better in combat, and is very combat focused itself. The other one is actually much more focused on debuffing enemies and sneaking, and would fill a role similar to a trickster cleric, I guess, because it's got the sneakiness of the rogue, but it's got like debuffing and magic and stuff similar to what you might find in a cleric. But it's definitely, again, its own unique thing. It's got similarities with certain things, but so do other things. Barbarians and fighters have similarities. You've got orcs in both World of Warcraft and in Pathfinder. So it's not like having similarities itself is a problem, as long as I can make sure that everything is unique in its own, which of course I am doing. So with what I've got a unique class with 2 unique subclasses to introduce. However, that wasn't necessarily where I originally started. Originally, I actually had a different concept of building... Pardon me. So originally I had a different concept in mind, and I was going to build a class that was focused on... well, not focused on, based on chess. I thought it'd be a really interesting idea. Now, this concept, I can share a little bit. I ended up going a different route because I used the name and somewhat the idea for this class that I was creating to instead create a faction within the world of Chraetor. But originally, the class that I was making was called the Chesters, and there was going to be 4 subclasses. No, 5 subclasses. Let's see. I'll count them out. I'm bad. So there was going to be Pawn Chester, Chester Pawns, Chester Knights, Chester Rooks, Chester Bishops, and Chester Queens. How's it going, Neon? Glad to have you here with us. I know, it was kind of interesting watching that stream you did the other day. Well, I guess now it's been more than just the other day. It's going pretty well. How about yours, Josh? Or do you prefer Joshua?
What is it? Thy purpose you may leave. I too.
I don't know how much you guys were here for, but I was actually talking about some of what I had been planning and doing in the book that I'm writing. It was still cool to tune in. Okay, let's see. Now that we've got her done, I guess next is that horrible inverted tower. I hate that thing. There's not too much of an update at the moment. There's been certain changes in the tabletop role-playing community that have been hinted at and talked about, so we're discussing certain changes, but there's no real updates yet. I'm mostly just talking about things to kind of process thoughts in my head and decide where I'm going. Like, I know you're not super familiar with D&D. I know you looked into it some, but there's certainly gaps there in your knowledge of it. So there's like 13 classes to begin with. And there's other classes in other tabletop role-playing games. And this is designed to be compatible for any of them. However, as the most popular one, I do use Dungeons and Dragons as a main focus for what I'm trying to get set up. So there's 13 classes, but like one of them is off limits for me to use because I'm not actually a part of Wizards of the Coast. I can't use all of their material. Some of it's under open game license, but a lot of it isn't. And so I've been working on setting up a new class that can fill a similar role to one of the ones that's off limits to them. It's a half-caster support class with two subclasses, one that's focused on helping if your allies hit harder and do better in combat, whereas the other one is more focused on sneaking and debuffing enemies. But originally I'd actually been toying around with a different idea. I was going to, that's what I was talking about when you first hopped on. I was going to make a class that was focused on chess, called the Chesters. There was going to be Chester pawns, knights, bishops, rooks, and queens. And they were going to have a completely unique set of stuff. Some of them were going to be full casters, like the bishop and the queen. Now, the editor's all on the publisher side. That could be interesting. I don't really know too much about Hawaiian mythology other than I've looked into Maui some, of course, because of that Disney movie, Mona or whatever, but I don't really know very much about it. I don't want to fight that preceptor. But that could be really cool. I know the little bit that I found out about Maui and stuff I thought was actually really interesting. Like I said, I might. There's definitely certain things in Indian mythology that I've liked quite a bit also. It's, in all reality, it's because I love fantasy and stuff, it's pretty much all mythologies. There's stuff in there that's super interesting. Oh, that's right, it's finger creepers. All of those things can just die. So did you actually, did you publish it, or did you just, write it for yourself? That could be really cool. If you published it, I'd kind of like to look into that. I feel like I can still hear the guy shooting at me. But I don't know where he... Yeah, I can see the attack, but I don't know... There he is. I've never seen him end up over there. That's just not cool. I didn't know that this guy ran away too. Yeah, it's definitely not a cheap process. There's nothing wrong with that. It just depends on the type of tabletop role-playing game you want to play. Story-based can be really good. You might be a grandpa soon then, Neon. It seems like a... Oh, crap. It seems like Elden Ring has been slowing down some. And if you ever change your mind, Josh, and you decide that you do want to try to publish it even without having the money and stuff, I can help you with the connections with getting to a publisher and stuff. That's actually what my business, Chraetor Creative, is focused on. It's the idea behind the business is to create a place where creative minds can come together and create things together, and we can help facilitate, you know, getting in touch with publishers or artists, just depending on what a person's particular needs are. See, that could be really fun. I appreciate the fact that you're going for historically accurate and not just rule of cool, although rule of cool is definitely nice too. But as somebody who's definitely interested in different histories and mythologies and stuff, like I enjoy accuracy as well. Try not to yeet myself off the edge of a small step again. See, I like that. That would definitely add an element of heavier thought process, which I think could be niche in as far as who actually wants to think that much about it. But for the people that are interested in that, I think that could be awesome. No, most likely I won't ever do a gaming PC. I like having an actual controller, and I know you can set up a controller on PCs, but A, it's an Xbox controller, and I hate how clunky those are. And it just, you lose a lot of what you can do on a PC with a controller anyway. I like my PlayStation. Although I wouldn't mind upgrading it to a PS5 if it didn't cost so much money and take so long struggling to get one. How's it going, Gajira? Glad to have you here with us. See, I thought there was a ladder. Yeah, there's the ladder. I'm just blind. Yeah. Oh, I can't use the ladder. Okay. Yeah, PS4 for now until I can justify spending the money on a PS5. I appreciate the offer, but I've got plenty. I'm already over leveled beyond where I meant to be. I'm at 199 and I meant to stop at 150 for like PvP and stuff. But I got a little carried away. But thank you for the offer, man. I appreciate it. Oh, so definitely up there. Oh, and Neon, I might do that. I mean, I've got a laptop that I've considered streaming it through. It's just that I don't have a capture card at the moment, and I've never tried that, so I have to figure out the nuances and stuff. That I'm not entirely sure. I know people have suggested Harry Potter Legacy when it comes out, so I might have that as the next mainstream and just have small ones in between, like Skyrim and the Kingdoms of Amalur, which I've streamed like one or two of previously, just as like tests. And we could, if you wanted to do some PvP, although I have to warn you, I'm not very good at PvP. Not very good at PvE either, to be honest. We've gone over this now, and I don't really, I don't care for gun games. I don't think Far Cry would, be very interesting to play. I mean, you get to watch me die a lot, but that's about it. Why are you so tanky? Oh god, he's gonna donut roll. Now that's another one I can't stand that one. I watch my girlfriend's kid play that all the time, and I don't understand it. The fact that they make it intentionally blocky and crappy, I can't get behind. Go away, donut roll. You suck. Why do I gotta get stuck on stuff? Witcher I could do. I think I've got Witcher 3. I tried playing it when I very first got it and didn't get into it, but I only gave it like a 10-minute try. It definitely deserves more of a try. Yeah, having guns isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, like I was just saying, I'm not too into gun games or guns and stuff, but I know there's a huge group of people that are super into that, and that just, it makes it more inclusive and increases the amount of people you can reach, which is never a bad thing. And yeah, Gojira, give me just a second to get to the top of the tower, and I'll come by and we can try some PvP. But like I said, just so you know, you're not going to find much of a fight out of me. Oh, I'm not worried about that. I'll keep trying, I'll just stick with this build. I mean, the weapons are maxed out. I've got a +10 Blasphemous and +10 Golden Order Greatsword. Oh, and they actually finished Dragon Ball Z, Neon. I'm kind of surprised. I kind of thought that would go on for eternity. Okay, grab Ronnie's death curse thing, and then I'll head to the Academy Gate. Alright. Let's see, it's somewhere. There it is. I have to admit, I never got into Dragon Ball Z, but I know that it was hugely popular, and it definitely serves as inspiration for all kinds of different animes and mangas, and even video games and stuff like that. I actually almost started looking into, not necessarily Dragon Ball Z, but anime and stuff in general to try to come up with inspiration. Oops. With inspiration for stuff for the book. Gojira, what was that password again? It cleared off my screen. Zero 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 145. See, I appreciate that you used historical accuracy with your guns and stuff. Like, I feel like the option rules in the Dungeon Master's Guide for that don't really list it. Alright, Kratos, I'm on the way. But I do find that interesting. I know I've been trying to come up with some unique mechanics to go with the classes. Let's see. Summon this adversary. Have you done any playtesting with it? Oh, and I might check out Vagabond Neon. I'll look into it some and see if it sounds good. Let's see. Don't take it personally. I don't have gestures set up, and I'm not familiar with the language here, so hopefully that's not anything too bad. Oh, and I promise I won't be using healing potions. What are you dropping? Envoy's Horn and Storm... all kinds of stuff. Don't you want to keep your stuff? Alright, are you ready to fight? Fair enough. See, at your level, I'm very scared of what's about to happen here. We could do that. Sorry, I thought you were ready. Healing I won't do, but I will increase mana. Man, Vike's War Spear is a powerful beast. Alright, healing worked. Never said I wouldn't use healing magic. The range on that is ridiculous. That's interesting. That definitely comes with a risk if you have a chance of it exploding on you. Yeah, we can do that. How do you want to test them? Sure. But Josh, if you're still here, since you've written stuff, even if it's unpublished for tabletop role playing as far as material and stuff, I'd like to hear your opinion on which you think is a more interesting concept. So I don't know how much of it you were here for when I was talking about the subclass that I created. Oh, you can hit me, Gojira, it's fine. But it's support half-casters. One focuses on... Oops. One focuses on improving its allies' weapons and stuff like that, while the other one focuses on debuffing and sneaking. But the other concept I had, not the one I started with, but the one that I've got in my mind that I'm like, oh, I might end up using that. Nothing much. How's it going, Dank? It's long time no see. I kind of thought you got bored with the channel. But the other concept I had come up with was creating a class called the God Spears, which are going to be a non-caster, full melee class that focus divine power through their armors and weapons and stuff, is basically champions of the gods. I'd be, to an extent, similar to a paladin, but also very different. I actually came up with the idea from listening to fair enough. I know, sadly, I haven't been able to get on Twitch nearly as much as I was doing. I have to say, I think your Sword of Milos is not quite as strong as you would like for it to be. That is, though. But, sorry Josh, so the idea came from listening to, like, about the Viking Berserkers. One was focused on, I guess the original ones we always hear about are focused on bears. And then there was another one, I can't remember their name, but they were focused on wolves, worked as groups and stuff. I was like, that could be interesting. Because I've got my own set of gods that are set up. And so it would be, each god has its own sacred animal, and I'd be focused on how that animal interacts with them, and that'd be the way each subclass gets its powers. Do you think that could be more interesting and potentially than, that one's decently strong. Than the half-caster? That hurt. What did you just hit me with? That thing is big and scary looking. I didn't hold up very well. No worries, Gojira. It's part of testing weapons. I get it. And yeah, I've gone further with this guy than any others. This was the one that started out as the Dragon Priest character, and I've since switched to a paladin, basically. I call him my Holy Crusader. He wields a blasphemous blade and a Crusader's greatsword. Longsword. I don't remember the name of it. At least 10? And thank you, Josh. I know you said you had a similar concept that focused on summoning the deity's weapon. I'm curious how set that up. And actually, there's only limited amounts that I can say while on a stream, because of course I have to keep, according to my deal with the publishers, I can't reveal everything, especially out on a stream. But if you would be interested in maybe chatting some more about it, I'd love it if we could maybe chat some through emails, if you'd be interested in maybe collaborating on some stuff. Nothing much. How's it going, Derek? Yeah, I beat the game, and my original game playthrough, I did the Frenzied Flame ending. But I've only gone through the game the one time so far. There's the other one. It takes so long to get to things. So blood and frost buildup, that's gotta be nice. Well, nothing procced. But on this playthrough I'll be trying for Ronnie's. Okay, I've got it procced. I don't think Blood Loss procced, but Poison did. That's kind of nice the way it just staggers you on a hit like that. Now, I'm sure by now you've beaten it, right, Dank? How many times have you gone through and which endings have you done? I know I still need Ronnie's and I guess the true ending or whatever, and then I've got the platinum trophy, I believe. Elden Lord ending, that's the one that I was calling basically the true ending. Nice, I know I definitely considered that, and I've done, on another account I've done, Dung Eater's quest and can take his ending, but all those ones will come after getting the platinum. You must definitely have yours upgraded more than mine. Mine's just base level. It really doesn't consume as much FP as I thought that would have. Just a trophy saying you've gotten everything in the game. It's not like it's really anything all that special. I'm just a completionist. Sorry, I'm not trying to kill you. It probably looks like it. That's an interesting concept. I think I've opened the whole map. I think I've fought most, if not all, of the bosses. Repeat bosses I haven't fought every version of, like the Knights Cavalry and stuff, but I think I've fought and beat all the unique bosses. Where exactly are you taking us, Kratos? Oh. You're just leading me to my death. This hurts. I don't know, can I rest with a duelist here? Probably not. No. Well, that was a mistake. No offense, I'm not following you up there again. I do need to go get the runes, though. So, have you gotten to... I know you didn't publish it. Have you play-tested any of the stuff, Josh? Seeing exactly how it works, whether it's the classes and subclasses, or monsters you've written, or even just the game mechanics of doing a more story-based role-playing game? Okay, I need to go get my runes real quick. Get back on my proper weapons. To be fair, it's only 80,000 runes, which is a paltry sum at this point, so I don't even know if it's really worth going up here for them, but... You hoes. Once you go down, the other ones are easy. It's what you get. Hoes. Well, if you ever get the chance, let me know how it goes, because I'd be curious to hear about it. Okay. I think I'm gonna go... Oh, I already did what Ranny was saying. Got her death rune. What's the next... Oh, I know what the next part is. The next part is going to Rena's Rise. Or continuing on Fia's quest. Oh, I needed to go down. This is useful. It's Ronnie's Rise, but that's not really important anymore. Oh, cool. Thank you, Gojira. I appreciate that. Lately I've had a bunch of stuff going on, so I haven't been able to stream as much as normal, but there for a while I was doing it every day, and I'm hoping that I can get back to that here soon. Well, every weekday anyways. Weekends I'm now working in the mornings constantly, so I'm not going to be able to. I might be able to still stream after work, actually, though. I've just got to find the right balance for my job, my company, streaming this, and writing. Oh, I actually left the academy. I'm trying to somewhat continue the quest line. I know originally I was planning on doing some of the quests and talking a lot about the book I'm writing, the Avid's Almanac of Chraetor. But I keep getting distracted from that and haven't done too much talking about that. But don't worry, I'm more than willing to keep testing weapons at other points too. Like I said, it's here soon. I should be back on to most of the time. See, I really like that, and because of that, you might like a game mechanic I've introduced for the book that I'm writing. It's the power of sins and virtues, which exists in the world, but every character ends up with one virtue, which grants them additional powers on top of their class or subclass or whatever. But then they also have a sin, which has a major drawback to it, a punishment, so to speak. Like, for example, greed. If you have the sin of greed, you can't cast any spells that consume the material because you're greedy. You don't want to lose your stuff, and so it can be a really big drawback for like a wizard.
Oh, or is it me? Fire. I hadn't expected. But now the form for eliminate the name of Ra. I will not.
And so I agree with the idea that there has to be drawbacks to the power that you possess. Well, hello, baby Estelle. I hate you. At first I just thought these things were like ant queens, and then I discovered that no, they're basically baby Estelles, and I can't look at them the same anymore. Okay, it's dead. No, I don't want to fight a bunch of claymen. Go away. But yeah, Josh, if I know I'd mentioned it. I don't know if you'd heard it. If you'd be interested in collaborating or talking more about this, I've got my email. It's for the company. It's Chraetor Creative, just like my YouTube name. Chraetor Creative at gmail.com. I'd love to be able to talk more about this with you and see if you might be interested in collabing or just discussing things. I've also been working with my publishers for setting up like playtest groups for the material that I'm coming up with. Alright. Actually, I hear people at my front door. Give me just a second. I will be back. Okay.
I take back what I said. I will not be right back. It looks like I've got park management here at my house, so I'm going to have to go. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I will try to come back on tomorrow morning, and we can talk more and see more of what's going on. Anyways, have a good one.
You want to sleep over?